Welcome to Cataloged Clutter, where we're building sets and studying one card at a time, no matter how common the card is, no matter how overlooked it is. Now, if you saw our last video, you know what card you're looking at right here. The last video was this, the number 7 Bill Bradley from this particular set. Well, you're looking at the card that was matched up with Bill Bradley. Action Pact paired these players up. You know they were a pair when they have the same color of one-on-one logo. See, they're both purple. So these two players, we're going to pit them against each other. That's what the set was meant to do. That's what we're going to do. Bill Bradley versus Elgin Baylor. Let's see who's going to come out on top. But before we do that, we really got to talk about the 1970 NBA Finals. Both of these players were there. Bill Bradley and Elgin Baylor, they were there in the 1970 NBA Finals, competing with each other. Now, there are 10 cards in this subset. 10. 5 of those players were on the court in the 1970 NBA Finals. Legendary. Legendary. Action Pact had all of NBA history where they could select these 10 players, and 5 of them were there playing in the 1970 NBA Finals. Just a reminder, cards number 1 and 2, couple guards. We have Walt Frazier, and he was playing against Jerry West. So, really neat pair to start off the set. In addition to Bill Bradley and Elgin Baylor, card number 5, Willis Reed. He was there for the finals. If you haven't watched our video on this number 5 from the set, please do. Willis Reed owned the NBA in 1970. Really was winning everything. And the crowd went wild when he entered the stadium. He was injured, and they thought he wouldn't play. And at the last second, he comes walking out, and they went crazy. It's a great moment. It's worth browsing YouTube for that scene. So just legends everywhere on the court here for the 1970 NBA Finals. I just thought it was interesting that half of the players from this subset come right from that series. Really neat. Really neat. 5 out of 10 of those cards. These cards are loaded with information. They really are. And for the affordable price, they're a must-have if you want to study the history of the game. So we're going to do what these cards were meant to do. We're going to let these two players here, Bill Bradley and Elgin Baylor, we're going to let them compete one-on-one, hence the name of this particular subset. You know, I want to point out something as we start this comparison. Both of these players played for one team for their entire career. That's nice. It's refreshing. Here's Bill Bradley, 10 seasons for the New York Knicks. Let's go to Elgin Baylor. He was the Lakers, of course. 14 seasons. Right there. Look at this amazing number for Elgin Baylor. This is great. Selected to 11 All-Star games. 11. That's huge. So he certainly beat Bradley there. I think Bradley was in one of them, I think. Let's talk rebounds. I want to talk rebounds. Elgin Baylor, it's unbelievable. Look at this here. Baylor set an NCAA tournament record in 1958 with 91 rebounds in 5 games. He was the Final Four MVP. 91 rebounds. He would go on to be the Lakers' leading rebounder with 11,463 in his career. With rebounds, here's Bill Bradley. There's his total. Doesn't even come close. I mean, these were two different players, I know, but still, doesn't come close. While we're looking at the stats, you can see that Baylor leads in total points by a wide margin, 23,149 to 9,217, and points per game as well. Very wide margin there with points. And look at some of this information. This is great. This is This is just amazing. He poured in a personal best 71 points versus New York. It's November 15th, 1960. And to this day, these cards are from 1993, but to this day, he holds the NBA Finals game record, 61 points versus Boston. Right there, April 14th, 1962. Okay, so Elgin Baylor is looking like he's coming out on top with this one-on-one competition. Tough to deny that. One big point, though. Elgin Baylor never won a championship. Bradley won 2. So, in many ways, Baylor wins. But there's your asterisk right there. Never won a championship. Hey, before we go, if you're not familiar with this set, if you haven't seen the other videos for some reason, if you did, you can turn off the videos as I'll repeat. But let's talk about the set. It's really hard to find a better set for the price. These cards are just such a higher quality than your typical early 90s basketball card. Really thick stock. Look at that. The photo even goes onto the edge. Thick stock. They're embossed. I think Action Pact was advertising this as like a, they called it sculpted. They called that player sculpted. Glossy player, but the background is this nice matte finish. Really, really nice card. Not true vintage, but it's full of great Hall of Famers. The set was to honor the 25th anniversary of the Hall of Fame, and because of that, they do say when each player was inducted. Elgin Baylor here was 1976. So really a great set of cards for the history. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I just thought it was important to point out, you have a subset, and 5 of those players were there on the court there in the 1970 NBA Finals. I just think that's neat. I think that's neat. And yeah, I think Baylor wins this one-on-one competition here. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.